I came home from prison June 15th of 2021. I read the book, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. And that book rocked my world and forever changed my life. After reading that book and learning the data and the history, coupled with my anecdotal experience of actually being in prison myself, my eyes were awakened. Once you see the truth, you can never unsee the truth. I recognize my privilege as a white man in the United States of America, albeit a poor one. I know a lot of people don't believe that you can be poor and have privilege. But what I learned is that privilege wasn't contingent on how much money I did or didn't have. My privilege was based on the amount of opportunities that I had that most would never have gotten. In fact, I had a life and opportunities that most could only dream of, no matter what race or ethnic or socioeconomic status that you come from. I went from graduating college to playing professional baseball to homeless in the streets and 10 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. What I realized is that I had a fragile ego who played the victim while simultaneously telling marginalized groups to stop playing the victim and accept accountability for actions and pull themselves up by the bootstraps. I was raised to be racist and xenophobic and misogynistic and transphobic and homophobic and Islamophobic. In fact, I'd venture to say that the vast majority of people who look like me that grew up in my community or live in the South were raised exactly the same way. They were taught the whitewashing of history. So after learning all this, in February of 2022, I had a mental breakdown. I was ready to take my life. I almost went back to prison for the rest of my life. I was literally rearrested. And ultimately, I evolved into the person I am today, and I began this healing process where I found more peace than I ever experienced. But I also lost people on the way, including family members. I lost a marriage, a career, because I was given the ultimatum. Stop talking about systemic racism. Stop talking about racial inequalities and disparities in the system. Stop talking about Black Lives Matter. Water down your platform or give up your platform or else. And the or else was always that I would lose that relationship, that position, that power, that prestige. But guess what? Every one of them have came and went. That relationship is gone. That marriage is gone. I've blocked family members. I've lost that career, but I'm still here. Because it's bigger than politics. In this movement, we must be willing to give up our privilege, our power, our position, our prestige, and even the money in our pocketbooks sometimes. Because we're going to make some people uncomfortable along the way. And once you do, they no longer want you around. You no longer have a seat at their table. You're otherized just like everybody else in those marginalized communities. But here we are still going strong because it's bigger than the politics. It's really a way of life, the very fiber of who we are as human beings.